inside Tehran. Taking out that facility will require a much bigger bomb than Israel has in its arsenal. The president's considering deploying a U.S. bunker buster bomb. It is capable of penetrating 200 feet underground for detonation. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin explains.
Hi, Jackie. Well, we just learned that the USS Nimitz, the aircraft carrier Stryker, will be arriving in the Middle East this weekend. That's significant in terms of any potential strike on Fordo, because on board are not only dozens of warplanes and up to 5,000 sailors, but also the very important EF-18 Growler electronic warplanes that are needed if you were to fly the B-2s over Iran. Now, here at the Pentagon, there is little doubt whether the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator or MOP could destroy Iran's Fordo nuclear facility, buried, as you said, 300 feet under a mountain complex with layers of limestone and dolomite rock, which geologists call nature's own bomb shelter. Shown here during a test in 2018 and developed by the Air Force specifically to address Iran and North Korea's underground nuclear sites, the MOP was designed to penetrate 200 feet underground. Further, if two missiles are dropped via GPS positioning into the same hole.
Does it have the capacity, if it's employed the correct way, to have the effect inside the mission space? Absolutely.
Retired Navy Captain Todd Sawhill oversaw the Defense Department's targeting operations, advising 5 CENTCOM commanders and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs on weapons like the MOP.
You can use in multiple hit scenarios where you have multiple impacts and sales to create a large crater disposal will be thrown out, and it allows the pathway for the next mission to go in even deeper and farther, so that the successive hits in the same point will allow increased penetration and increased lethality.
All eyes now on Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, home to the B-2 stealth bomber. The U.S. is the only military in the world with the capability to strike this buried program with a conventional weapon using its B-2 bombers, which can fly at 50,000 feet, carrying two massive 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs. There are two entrances to Fordo.
If they wanted to go after the portal entrances, it's likely that they would use two B-2s for each portal entrance, so we could drop two bombs per portal.
The B-2s fly with a significant air escort for protection. It's a 30-hour round trip to the Mideast from Whiteman that requires a massive air refueling bridge. That is why the Pentagon ordered dozens of refuelers to bases in the UK and the Middle East. Lieutenant General Mark Wetherington is a former B-2 pilot and served as deputy commander of the Air Force Global Strike Command. The mission, General Wetherington says, will rely on the quality of the intelligence about the Fordo site. Jackie.
Jennifer Griffin, thank you. Appreciate it. Well, some opinion pieces highlight the potentially historic choices the president faces in his decision making. The New York Post editorial board with "Keep the focus on stopping Iran's nukes. Regime change is too risky a game." And Carl Rove writes in the Wall Street Journal, "Trump's clarity on Iran and the questions that remain. He hasn't wavered in his view that Iran can't have nuclear weapons. Now we'll have to decide what to do about it." Michael Allen is a former special assistant to the president and senior national security director under President George W. Bush. Michael, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So you just heard Jennifer Griffin's report, and it sounded to me like the assets that are moving in that direction would allow the president, if he so chooses, to take some kind of an action within the next week or so, even though the White House has said that he'll make a decision on whether to strike in the next 2 weeks.